Welcome back to Studio F4 on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Jurassic World Dominion. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Richard, roll the clip.
It's Russell.
Son of a...
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Tony with me. And Tony, we are here at the end of the 6th movie as we get ready for Rebirth. And that is Jurassic World Dominion. We've got Colin Trevorrow still in the director's chair. Cast, I mean...
Old
basically,
introduced to new.
Yeah, it's basically the same, but we get the guys from 1993 back in it. We get Sam Neill back, we get Laura Dern back, we get Jeff Goldblum back. Love seeing that.
Hell yeah.
On top of obviously having Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt as our two main characters. But we'll start with the good. And I think the big good for me is having those guys back. I think I have things to say about this movie that are definitely in the negative light. But this movie is just truly carried by nostalgia. We get a lot of, references to the first one. Like we get Ian Malcolm picks up the flaming locust to get the attention of the Giganotosaurus. I love that. I love, we get Ian Malcolm just with his one-liners again, like the one where the dog humped his leg until he had a callus on his shin. True story. Just stuff like that just made it feel good to be back with the original gang. I love seeing when Owen Grady and Sam Neill kind of fanboy over each other. He's like, I read your books. And he's like, you're the one that trained the rappers. Like, I think that stuff's all cool. When the T-Rex walks through and it perfectly lines up with that water circle.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like the logo. That's awesome. So that's what I mean. Like, this movie just, it brings nostalgia into my feelings. And I love watching those three back on the screen with the new age guys because I still do enjoy Claire Daring and Owen Grady's characters. And, we get some cool little homage paid to the OGs. And I think it's fun in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I was brought to tears, but it really made me sad towards the end because I thought this was it.
Yeah.
I said, you bring the old guys and the respectfully, old lady back, and they're introduced to the new ones, and then, if I'm not mistaken, there's some new dinosaurs in there.
Yeah. Something else I'd put in the good is that we are now seeing Bison take the charge in dinosaur creation, which is also homage to the first one, because Bison is the company that's paying Dennis Nedry to put those embryos in the Barbasol can.
Oh, shit, yeah, they are.
That's Dodgson. Remember, he's like, don't get cheap on me, Dodgson, when they're sitting at the table in the first movie? Yeah, that's an older Dodgson. Wow. And so now Biosyn's in the lead because Engine's out of it.
I don't know how the hell I didn't make that time.
Yeah, so I always thought that was cool, too, that now Biosyn's and it's cool, too, because Bison takes the charge, but from the get-go, they're the bad guys. Which is cool, because outside of the dinosaurs, they are the bad guys in the first movie. They're the reason Nedry puts them off the grid. So, like, Bison still plays that bad guy role, and I like that. So, like, even though Dodgson is trying to be, charismatic and all of that when, Grant and Sattler pull up, the whole time he's just a snake, which I think is cool. But, yeah, Bison's the company that,
I think...
Cool little connection.
And it's all couldn't be possible without Dr. Wu?
Yeah.
He's been consistent throughout all the movies. He's been in the behind the scenes, at least the scientific.
Now he's working for Bison, yeah.
Yeah, and they being able to do that, and obviously with the, with his his genetic generation of anything and everything dinosaur throughout this entire series.
Yeah, we do get some, like you said, new dinosaurs. We got the Giganotosaurus in this one, which is the largest meat-eating creature I think to ever exist.
That's what they said.
They've got the Therizinosaurus, which is the crazy bird-looking one with the 3 long claws on each hand.
Big bird?
Yeah. Big bird.
Big bird. Is it a herbivore? Omnivore?
Well, it might be. I don't know what it is, because it doesn't ever eat anything.
It was eating plants, but it did, smack... I think it smacked a deer earlier in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, you don't see it eat anything. You just
Yeah.
see it like just.
We get some raptors with feathers in this one.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What's supposed to be more realistic because they're getting more and more close to the actual DNA of raptors. So like, real raptors had feathers.
So they're related to birds.
I mean, they say the closest thing to a T-Rex in the modern world is a chicken.
Did you see those memes on TikTok?
That's a real thing.
Remember who you are.
Like, isn't that crazy though? That the modern day chicken is the closest thing we have to a T-Rex.
Man, so T-Rex must taste real fucking good.
Probably.
Hell
You
yeah.
get a lot of meat out of a T-Rex too.
Give me a leg.
Dude, you're set for
Kill it.
you're set for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's like it's a couple tons of meat right there. But no, it was cool seeing those raptors, and I really enjoy the first act of this film because that's where we heavily get to see a lot of the implications of the dinosaurs in the real world. Like I said, I think it was a really dumb decision of Maisie to do that, but if you're going to this movie expecting it, I think the first act kind of you get to see a lot of what's going on in the real world with that podcast type thing where you've got the mosasaur attacking the surfer, and you've got like the little commies, I think, what are they called? The little ones that are active in the second and third one. They're attacking, and
Yeah.
so you get to see like you got the T-Rex that enters the zoo and it's doing its roar while the lion. Yeah, like so you get to see some of the real world implications of dinosaurs being out there, which I thought was cool. And then you're back with Owen and Claire, and you see them and they have their run-ins with Maisie, who's growing up, but they're also still trying to help the dinosaurs. You've got Owen, who's kind of showing the way to one. You've got them helping the Brontosaurus or the Brachiosaurus or Brontosaurus. They're kind of the same, but I think Brachiosaurus in this sense, who are at the logging, and they should move them with the flare and stuff like that. So I think that stuff's all cool. And then once Maisie's taken, I think we hit a little lull, but once we get them all together is when I think this movie's at its best. And that's most of the third act. And that's where we get a lot of the nods to the original and stuff like that. A scene that I really like when Claire enters the bison grounds and she has her running with the Therizinosaurus. When she is underwater, that shot of her underwater.
That's like
such a good shot. I love that shot.
that was legit. That's all I was asking if it was like an omnivore or not.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite shot in the movie. Like, wow.
Other
than the T-Rex in the circle, but when you're talking cinematography, that was well captured for sure. But yeah, and then once again, I mean, everything looks good. I thought all the acting was good. It, once again, feels good to have those guys back while still, bringing in the new age. But yeah,
I like the story. Side note, like you said, how Maisie let the animals out and she's still being hidden.
Yeah,
that's what you get. Kind of funny, in a way.
Yeah,
it sucks to be a 14-year-old not being able to have ride your bike downtown, but you understand the implications. If biasing gets you, you're cooked.
Yeah,
but you see that Blue is back.
Mm-hmm.
Blue has a child.
Yeah, Beta.
Beta produced asexually, and I liked how Beta and Maisie was the key to, I guess, the next move for Bison, at least for Dr. Wu's sake, because Dr. Wu made, I guess, a humongous error with the locust.
Mm-hmm.
That was more the implication. I like to see that, although we are living beside dinosaurs, now he made something where it's fucking up the food chain. At least for us, anyway.
Yeah.
And they're going for everything besides biosin products, so biosin seed. Yeah. And to fix his major screw up, and luckily Maisie has a big heart and understands, I'll help you in the end. Mm-hmm. To see the comparison between Maisie and Beta, because since they were both made asexually. Yeah. So I did like that part about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that for sure. I don't know if I have much else in the good. But man, I do love the nostalgia in this one. It's definitely a fan service movie. This movie, they bring back the new guys because it's like No Way Home, and I love No Way Home. I love No Way Home even more than this movie. But bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, you knew you were going to get people on board.
Yeah. Bringing
back the OG trio, you know you're going to get people on board. You know what I mean? So, a little bit of fan service, but I eat it up, so. But, anything else in the good for you?
No.
Okay, so we can hop over to the meh. I put the locust stuff in the meh in the sense that I thought it was a cool idea. Like, Bison, these bad guys, make a locust that eats everybody's crops but theirs. So now, like, the only crops you can buy are theirs. They can upcharge. They can sell whatever they want because they've got all the food supply. I just hate how much of a driver's seat it took over dinosaurs in the real world. So I put it in the meh because I think it's cool, but I wish we got more dinosaurs in the real world. And when I say that, like I said, I love the first act. I don't like the dinosaur stuff in the real world that we get when they're trying to get into Bison and like the bike chase is cool, but we have like dinosaur fighting underground, like just some weird stuff, and then like randomly the T-Rexes. What kind of
Mike Vick stuff is this?
Yeah, and then the random I don't know if it was T-Rexes or Allosauruses in that little plaza that eat the guy off the Segway. Like it just kind of got messy in the middle for me. And this whole movie, I'd probably put the story structure itself in the meh just because it is very convoluted, very messy.
Yeah, all over.
There's a lot going on. So it's, and not to mention, it's also long. This one is 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's the longest one in the franchise. I think you got to stick this back to the 2 hour mark like the other ones. That's what I love about Jurassic Park 3. It's a swift hour and 32, and it's just an adventure. But 2 hours is good for these movies. 2 hours and 40, dude.
Pushing 3?
The pacing took a hit because of that, and I think there's just moments where it's a lull. And I think if you underplay the locust stuff a little more, maybe I don't know what you do, but it was convoluted. It was messy. Like I said, I still enjoyed it because of the homage to the originals you get and the fan service with the cats being back from the 90s. But the locust stuff in that definitely a little messy. As far as the meh, that might be it for the meh. Do you have anything in the meh?
I mean, the other thing for the meh, you're not going to see Owen get screwed up in the movie. Obviously, he might get in a fight or whatever and get hurt, but his trek from the city on the bike to the plane, and you have something similar to the Endoraptor, where point the laser, boom, that Asian lady.
Yeah.
And he outran them all.
Dude, he was doing some crazy stuff.
I mean, he was hauling ass, don't be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, he got in his bag.
But he was like going up and down staircases. Yeah, like he was like a professional motocross driver.
So for how fast they pretty much praised the raptor, or just the raptor species. And he outran them on flat ground on the runway.
Yeah.
Or on the motorcycle, and they were so close. I would have loved to see not him get fucked up at something.
Yeah,
that's my only mad because it's almost like these two are invincible. Yes, you have their close calls, but I think it would have been more realistic, like say he got scratched or something like that.
I get what you're saying. Like I'd probably put in the meh that we really have no high stake death.
Maybe next film.
Maybe, but like. That's its own thing. This one's not. It's not gonna have the same characters as this one. Like we bring the OG cast back, we have the new cats, and there was just no high stake death. I mean,
everybody runs into their own situation, but nobody dies.
Like I feel like everybody that died was a bystander, other than Dodgson. Yeah, just like the guy in the Segway, you never get to know who he is. Like you know what I mean? I mean, I guess Wu doesn't die, does he?
No. He is in the end scene.
Yeah,
when everybody's cool because he's gonna extract the DNA. From
Yep. Who doesn't see? That's what I mean. So there really is no upper end death in this one.
No.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I still enjoy this movie for the most part. It's just long and kind of messy.
Dinosaurs rock. Bad man dies. The gruesome fivesome that were there save the day.
Yeah. Anything in the bad?
Not much, I said, besides my meh. That was pretty much it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything that's like bad. Like I said, I think there's just a lot that falls into that meh category, and that's mostly just with the multiple storylines. But we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with? The Minion? What do you give it out of 10?
Minion, and so far 1 through 6, I put this at my 5, and then
I agree with you. This is right above Fallen Kingdom.
And I will give this a 7.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna go flat 6 out of 10. I think it's a decent movie. I don't think it's. When I watched this in theaters, I gave it a 7. I thought I was higher on it than most people. And I feared watching it a second time because I feared my score would go down. And when I watched it the second time, it went down a point. I just noticed more of the mess. I noticed how long it was. Not being in a theater, I think, made it feel longer too. Because when you're in a theater seeing it for the first time, you have that recency bias. You get just captivated by being in a movie theater.
Yeah, the surround sound and everything.
Yeah, and so it definitely took a hit the second watch, but I still had fun with it because I just like seeing the two groups together, So I had a good enough time to say it's a worthwhile film, and it's definitely not my least favorite in the franchise. I put this ahead of Fallen Kingdom. That'll do it for Jurassic World Dominion. Tony, thank you for coming on. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. We've got Jurassic World Rebirth next. The wait is almost over. We're going to go check it out. We'll let you know what we think here in a couple of days, so stick around, but we'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.